What's up, everybody? 505 interview series, Big D coming back at you. Got another great show tonight. But before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, please. It helps out the channel, helps out the analytics, and I can continue to provide all this amazing, great content for the free. Also, pinned in the description and pinned in the comment section and down in the description as well, I got links to my advertiser sponsors and preferred retail partners. Go support them. Go take advantage of the exclusive deals that are only available to my viewers out there by using the promo codes. Save some coinage. Make these people go broke by taking advantage of all that. Reminder, I don't get a cent back from any of my brands out there. I opted to give you guys the biggest discounts available out there, so no kickback to me. So you're purchasing, it's saving you more money, and I'm just my little gift to you. Whether you're looking for accessories, you're looking for cigars, I got you covered. So take advantage of those exclusive discounts using my promo codes that are in that Linktree link there. All right, now I guess now we're getting started here. I got introduced to this brand last summer. I smoked the first cigar I smoked out of it, and I had to hit this guy up and tell him, dude, you have got a banger on your hands. Then I smoked another one out of a different line, and I said, man, this is sneaky, sneaky good. And now I finally able to connect and get him on. So without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour here, Antanius Fields from AT Fields Selection Cigars. And welcome, sir.
How we doing, sir? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, man. So I'll hand it to you, and you can do a nice introduction for everybody there personally about you and the brand.
Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Antanius Fields. AT is what most people call me. I am out of Jacksonville, Florida, here in Duval County. And I have been a cigar brand owner now going on about 3 years. I started in the industry managing a lounge, doing representation, consultation. So been in the industry for about 7 years, but actually decided to come up with my own creation about 3 years ago. Well, actually a little bit longer than that. It took me about 3 years to actually create each blend that we have in the line. I have 3 blends, a Connecticut, a Corojo, which is more of a medium body smoke, as you all probably know, and then Maduro. I work and am mentored by some that you all probably already know. I know D knows who this person is. Dr. Oscar Rodriguez of GTO Cigars is my friend, brother, mentor, my Jedi. He's Yoda. I'm Luke Skywalker. So he's allowed me to join the force, if you want to say. And it's been a hell of a ride, man. We just getting started, but we've gotten some really good feedback so far. Like I said, I was able to create the blends myself and allow such a great factory in Cigar Valley in the Dominican Republic to manufacture them. For me, I started smoking cigars, oh man, I was 22, and I'll be 48 in August. So been doing this for a little while. And I smoked from every region. I tried everything I could think of. And every time I looked around, I just kept going back to the Dominican Republic. The flavor profile there, you get the spice, but you get a very, very meticulously great draw, great transition in the cigars that are made there. All of mine are full Dominican Puro. I haven't taken anything from any other region in my core line. I wanted to stay true and pay tribute to that region by doing all the tobacco from that region. So here we are.
Yeah. And so I'm smoking the Corojo tonight. I got introduced to your brand through the Maduro, and then that Maduro, oh my goodness, oh, the Maduro, yes, first, yeah, like 3 puffs in, it was already Drew bucket worthy after 3 puffs. I'm like, man, that's why I had to hit you up after I smoked it just to tell you, man, I appreciate it because it was so good. Like I was like, man, who's sleeping on this? Because it's so good. And then I've smoked the Connecticut, and the Connecticut is just it's 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 sneaky. Like you really start off with how you would expect that a Connecticut to go, and then about halfway through that first third, it just completely changes the dynamic of the cigar changes and becomes almost a completely different cigar. And it is a fantastic smoke on there. So, you know, it, I've told people who are looking for a Connecticut, but one a little different, that yours has been one that I've recommended to a lot of people. I'm like, get through the first half of the first third, and you're going to be like, okay, it's Connecticut, regular, okay. And then you're going to see this change hit, and you're going to forget you're even smoking one.
Yeah, I do tell people a lot of times, because I get that quite a bit, of people that aren't really Connecticut smokers. They want something that's a little bit more bold, medium, plus, the full body as far as the flavor profiles will go. But I always tell them that one's a sleeper. It's like having the nice car that no one knows up underneath that hood. It's got some power, and for that particular one, it's gotten a better response than I even thought it would get, and I'm glad that it did, because it was where I started smoking. Well, actually, I should rephrase that. It was my second phase of when I started smoking cigars. I went out basically with Nicaraguan tobacco. That was where I started, and I wanted something that would knock your head off. I was trying to get a good punch, so I went with very strong Maduros that were out there, and then a gentleman that really taught me about different blends and just opening up my palate more, hit me to Connecticut. And he was like, I can guarantee you, I can get you a Connecticut that would hit just as hard as that, but you'll get so many different flavor profiles that'll come, as a result of it, that it'll help you understand how important it is to grow your palate. And that particular Connecticut, once I was able to get everything, the proprietary tobacco put together to do it, it was like, yeah, this one's gonna be a sleeper for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this Corojo right now. You're about there to get the drill bucket pulled out on this one too. Few puffs in, because man, it's just, I gotta say, for people who sleep on Dominican tobacco because they just don't think that it's gonna be, it's not strong enough. It doesn't have that. No. It's not. It's a Dominican tobacco can be just as potent and just as strong as Nicaraguan or Honduran. It's just that most of those traditional Dominican blenders and brands out there take pride in the Cubanesque style of cigars, so they tend to be lighter and creamier. Don't pack that power and punch.
Yeah, you do see that quite a bit. I would agree with that. I think the Dominican focuses more on flavor transitions,
Yeah.
more than they will necessarily the robustness or the power that you'll get with some of the spice that you'll get out of, say, a Nicaraguan or a Honduran tobacco leaf. I think they have a really good, smooth transition going from first third throughout the rest of the cigar that allows it to be very, very much an easier transition, I think, to smoke, especially if you're, in my opinion, if you're kind of a novice smoker. It allows for you to not be overwhelmed right up front, but it does still give you the flavor, the potency, but also just a good draw. The construction is usually really, really well. The one thing that I really wanted to do with each cigar was to make sure that no matter where you are in that smoking experience, that you have good construction, you get that beautiful white ash that comes off of it. Um, when I smoke, I like a lot. I like to fill a room with a cloud of smoke.
Oh yeah, this I can tell you now. This dragon cloud's coming out.
Yeah. So I could say for me, if it doesn't do that, then I'm probably not going to be much interested in it long term in the smoke. So when you can get that, also, I'm a big retro hailer. I think that's, to me, that's where all of the flavor profiles really, really comes out. And I've gotten the best response from Dominican tobacco when it comes to that, because you can get, whether it's the leatheriness or the cedar that you'll get that'll come through on the Connecticut. Definitely in the second third of the Corojo, when you start getting more of the dried fruits, but also more of the spice, more almost like a cinnamon will come through the retrohale. And then with the Maduro, I think it's probably my crown. That one, no matter where you are in the smoke, if you're a retrohaler, you're going to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, yes, it's phenomenal there. Oh, Tim, the cigarologist, popping in. Good to see you, Tim. You out there? Him and his Barry Bonds swelled dome.
Tim is a good dude. I got to meet him in person back in October of last year. He was at River City Smoke Fest here in Jacksonville, and I got featured at one of the home lounges there, Aroma Cigar Bar, here in Jacksonville, Florida. And he came through for my feature. Got to meet him in person and got to chop it up. I think the first one that he had from the line was the Maduro as well. So good people.
Yeah. Out there, Brett, and just want to put that out here, and for everybody else who's watching out there, if you want to give a nice, you want to try any of the 3 lines here that AT has available, I have a direct link in the video description on all the platforms to Black Box Cigar Club, where you can go pick them up. I also got my promo code in there, so take advantage of it. Make Dantley go broke, order a lot so it's a big discount, make him eat that. Watch my mouth. Well, I'm sorry, when you put on your 15-gallon cowboy hat there, that's 15 by 15 to fit your head. I can't help that. It takes up the whole screen when I'm watching your show.
As long as you look good in it, brother, it don't matter.
I mean, I don't know. At least you can see him coming, I'm like, somebody goes, has anybody seen Tim? And I'm just like, I don't know, just look for the balloon head.
You're talking much trash, Tim. You got to back yourself up now.
I love Tim. I love Tim. If you can't roast your friends out there, then what do you have in life?
That's always the way to go.
I don't give it as bad to Tim as I give to Yule Chevalier. Him, it's just nonstop. Him and Cigar Rockstar. I'm relentless on both of those dudes. But Rockstar got me back in Dallas Smoke Fest when he was emceeing one night, and he was on the mic the whole night on the mic, just trashing me. And I'm like, man, for once he got me.
You got to if you can dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
Yeah, you got to be able to take it. I'm like, man, he's been waiting years to get me back, and now he has the opportunity to get on the mic. Now he can spend the whole night just dogging on me.
He got the platform now, and
He
the
got the platform. Yeah, that's right. I can't
no
do
going back.
nothing about
No
it.
turning back.
Yeah, can't do it. Take off my hat. I ain't got no hair, bro. I ain't got no hair. And besides, I don't wear a size 11 in a fitted cap like you do. I don't have that Barry Bonds dome.
I can't say much because I got a big ass head anyway. So
I got a big. I do have a big head. You know, I wear 8 1/4 to an 8 1/2 in a fitted hat.
Yeah, I'm about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that fat head.
So
yes, I do. I do got that George Jefferson. I do got that. That's right. When I do let it grow out, I got the sides, and the sides throw out, and then I got the horseshoe with just a little bit right in the middle of the bald horseshoe. I do. You're the first. I tell everybody when they tell me to let my hair grow out, I go, nah, because then I get the George Jefferson. Tim's the first person that has said that I didn't say that to. Bravo, Tim. Bravo. I did. This Corojo is nice, man.
Thank you very much.
The spices are just perfect, and it goes so well with the creaminess on the cigar. And that retro is fantastic. And this is what I'm going to say. Just like with Dr. GTO, Dr. O's brand, and I've noticed this in yours too. You both have what I like to call a retro Hailer's Dream cigars, because it's like perfect. Like, you don't want to do anything but retro the cigar, the entire cigar. And yours is like that. Dr. O's is like that. There's a few other brands out there that are like that, but not, but it's perfect. It hits all the senses of the palate, front, back, all the way through the nose.
Well, and to me, that's the only way you can truly enjoy the experience, man. Like, it's got to be a situation where every sense is activated. Like, to me, smoking cigars just isn't a hobby; it's an experience. And if you're not getting that full experience by taste, touch, smell, hell, even a little bit of the crackle that you'll get right after it's toasted. Like, if you're not getting that, to me, you kind of rob yourself of the experience as a whole.
Oh yeah.
And it's the retro hell for those that do it, because that was such a big thing for me. I was like, I couldn't imagine doing a cigar where I didn't have the urge to retro hell on every draw. So, I mean, if it's there, that means that every bit of the flavor profiles that you really want to come through and transition as you go through that cigar really shows up well.
Yes. Tim, I got the Corojo tonight. It's the only one I haven't smoked. And it's phenomenal. I get what you're saying, because it really, that retro has like that fresh cut cedar taste to it. It's nice. Like, and I'm not a fan of the cedar taste on my palate, on my tongue, but I don't mind it on the retro. It's nice to the retro. It's to me, to that feeling I get is like when you walk into like a nice humidor that's just got cedar everywhere.
Yeah.
And you take that, you just it's got that taste to it.
Yeah, it brings that aromatic that aromatic really should hit the nose more than it would the tongue. When you start getting into like your cocoa notes or your cinnamon or your dry fruits, depending on the blend, um, uh, or where you want the palate to hit for the tongue, but more for me personally. But for your cedar, the leathery notes, those are things that just
They're better through the retro.
yeah, much better.
It is. It's way better through the retro. There's certain flavors that I like that are great on both the retro and on the tongue. But then there are just flavors that are good, better through the retro and better on the tongue than anything else. And one of those cedars, one of those I like through the retro. I don't so much mind the leatheriness on the tongue, especially if it's like there's like a meatiness to that leather. I like that taste.
Yeah,
But when
yeah.
you start getting more into more like the dry leather or a tan leather, it's way better on the palate or
Yeah.
way better on the retro.
Yeah.
You know,
I would agree.
yeah, I prefer that, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But when you have a great blend, you kind of know what to go for out there. And when you're an experienced smoker out there, you really know what you like. So when you're blending or crafting a cigar, it's like, no, I don't want that taste on my tongue. I don't want that taste on the tongue. I want that taste on the retro. We need to work on blending that to get that taste there, because I think people would prefer it. More people would prefer that through the retro.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do, depending on where, like I say, what no matter what region you're coming out of, actually, is the difference between long filler and short filler tobacco. I think that really plays a major role on how those different flavor profiles can hit the palate. Yeah, long ash,
Look
keep it
at
nice.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
we got almost a razor burn going on this. Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm I gotta say, man, I think you've got a home run with your blends, man. I put after I did my top 10 for 2025, I put my brands to watch for 2026, and you're one of my 10 brands out there. I put brands to watch because I think you've got that secret sauce working great for you, and I don't see why you can't blow up this year.
I appreciate that, man. Like I say, I've been able to watch you for a while, and just a lot of the ones that I've seen you do. I saw your top 10 for 25, and I was like, yeah, he's got a good palate, man. I mean, like that was it was spot on, and that's good because you always want to see somebody enjoy your blends as a brand owner. But before I was a brand owner, like I said, I started at 22 years old. I was a fan. I was an enthusiast. So I have a lot of people that are out there that I'm a fan of different blends within their catalog, and it's good to see them shine, whether they're a legacy brand or a boutique. So to me, I always look at it. I was talking with somebody. Um, Actually, it was one of the young ladies that's a part of the TPA, and she made a comment that has stuck with me. She said every brand essentially is a boutique, and the reason why is because much of the history, whether they're a legacy brand or someone just starting out, is it started out as an idea that someone had to create and put into production, and they didn't start in mass production. They started small, and that's always kind of stuck with me. I thought that was a very, very poignant uh, look at it. So I don't, I never wanted to put something out that was just a label was put on it. I wanted it to be like that was my signature. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to this stuff, but I did want to add my spoke, and I thought
Sure.
that was the best way to do it was
Hey,
to get
you're just yes. I think that's a good way to put it. You're not reinventing it, but you're putting your own. You're part of that. You're part of the smoke. I like that. That is such a good way to put it. I like that. I'm gonna use that. stealing it. Tim, great question here. How'd you get linked up with Dr. O?
We met back in 2019, 2020. I was at there was a boutique cigar festival in, where was that at? We're in Indiana. Where was it? Martinsville, Indiana. My wife had to remind me where it was. And it's a crazy story, actually. I made a trip out there. I was with a different cigar line at the time. I partnered with somebody, and that person was supposed to go with me. And I've always kind of been the guy in the background, not a big talker per se. Talk about cigar and talk all day, but as far as the socialite, it's never really been my situation. So that person wasn't able to go. So I had to go out and basically be the representative of the brand at the time. And I get to the host hotel, get directions to how to get to the venue where they're doing all the setup. So I wanted to go out there and help them get everything kind of set up for the VIP dinner they were doing that night. And I do that. And I took an Uber out there. And right when we're wrapping up, getting ready to leave to go back to the host hotel to get cleaned up and come back for the event later that evening, I was on the phone calling for another Uber. And Dr. Rodriguez was like, "Where are you staying?" Had never met him before. And I said, "I'm staying at the host hotel." And he said, "Well, I'm staying there too." He was like, "What, are you waiting for a ride?" I was like, "Yeah, I was just calling my Uber back." He said he'd be in the area, give me a ride back over there. He was like, "Man, don't worry about that. I'll give you a ride back to the hotel. We're staying in the same place anyway." So it was about a 15-minute drive. When I say in 15 minutes of talking to this guy, and I guess him talking with me, it was like, dude, we felt like we had known each other for it was an immediate connection. And it was like, how the hell is this possible in 15 minutes, And we ended up just kind of hanging out, for most of the events that we had that weekend. And I was working with another blender at the time. And he said to me then, he was like, "Hey, man, there's something a little different about you. I can't put my finger on it, but if you're ever in the market of maybe trying a different, working with a different blender, I'm not trying to pull you away from anybody, but if you are, take my number down, give me a call, stay in contact with me. If you got any questions, anything I can help you with, I help you." So I got back to Jacksonville, and I told my wife, "I think I'm gonna be going in a different direction." And she was like, "Well, why is that?" I was like, "Because I think God put somebody in front of me that I'm supposed to be doing something with. I'm not sure what capacity that is right now. A lot of things changed from the time that we met to where we are now. But the one thing that stayed constant is he's got my 6 and I got his. So it's been a wonderful ride."
Yeah. That Dr. O seems like that kind of guy. I love talking to him. I kind of fanboy out every time I get to see Dr. O. He's just got that kind of personality. And I'm just like, man, and I appreciate so much what he does within his own brand, but also what he does within the industry. And, it gets me all excited when I get the opportunity to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I finally, after years, was able to get him on the show, and I was so excited.
Man, his schedule, he is a machine, man. His schedule is so crazy between, his military time. Like I said, he is a level 1 trauma surgeon.
Yeah.
So when Doc is, no matter where he is in the country, he's always on call. There have been numerous events that we've gone to that he'll come in and I'll look at him. I'm like, "Man, what you been doing tonight?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I just got out of a 6-hour surgery." And I'm like, "Dude, we're in New Orleans. What the hell are you talking about?" "Yeah, I'm on call." So I'm like, "Yeah, I forget about that sometimes." But and then he'll come and do 8 hours at this show and maybe go do a cutting light afterwards, get a couple hours sleep, and he's right back at it again. So it's who he is.
Yes, he will keep you on the phone forever. But you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind it, especially when I got a long drive home from work, and I'm like, well, it's like a 3-hour drive, and you got Doc who will spend 2 hours and 38 minutes on the phone with you. I'm okay with it.
Well, if he stays on the phone with you for that long, the one thing I do know is he's probably going from one,
He's driving too. He's
yeah, he's
he's
going from
he's
one
he's
city to
somewhere
another.
he's somewhere in Florida, and he's driving to go do a surgery
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy how those things, how it works. Because most times I know if he calls me, I already know he's on the road. So I'm like, okay, where are you going? Oh, I got to go here for this, and then I got surgery that next in the morning, and 3 cutting lights I got to do at this lounge and this lounge. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to lay down and sleep, don't you? And he was like, yeah, I'll get there.
Yeah, he's the type of guy I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's just
Yeah.
that's how he's. Bourbon Pitmaster said he met you 2 years ago in Miami at the Caldwell Herf Festival.
Yes. We they had Miami Herf. It's hosted by a guy named Jay Ferguson, and it was my first time at that event. Uh, Actually, Doc and I teamed up and did both brands there for the event, and I was able to meet the Bourbon Pitmaster. Cool dude, man. I could say I like watching how he pairs the different bourbons that he's able to get his hands on, which is quite a selection. And so I got to get him something so he can pair mine with one of those bourbons that he's got out there that nobody's heard of.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. That sounds awesome. Out there. So let's dig in a little personal here. Do you remember the first cigar you ever smoked?
Yes, I actually do. I was I want to say it was and the thing about it is it was a naked Nicaraguan. It was given to me by a friend of mine. I have no idea uh, who actually made the cigar, but it was a very, very, very potent Nicaraguan Maduro, and I smoked that thing and was like, I don't know if this is something I should be doing because I mean it sat me down, and I'm thinking I drink this, whatever, but it was it hit hard, man. But the more and more I got into it, I was like, man, after I got past the first, 4 or 5 draws on it and it started to calm down, I'm like, what is that taste that I'm getting? And you get all this dark, rich cocoa that was coming out. And I'm like, is this a flavored cigar? I'm like, I don't want no damn flavored cigar because it was like at the time it was so like taboo to have those. And he was like, no, this is what you're getting is the real deal. So I guess it was, baptism by fire, I guess you'd say. I probably should have started out with something a little bit on the milder side to kind of transition myself in. But if you're gonna jump in with both feet, you might as well go in and do it right. So, and I've been going at it ever since.
I uh that people who watch the show all the time they know the story, but I skipped school the day I turned 18 and drove to the cigar shop in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which was like 30 minutes away. And I walked in and I said, I just turned 18 today. I don't know anything about this, but I'd like to smoke a cigar. And so the owner's son, and another guy who was just hanging out in the lounge took me into the humidor, and they picked out 3 cigars for me. And they go, why are you interested? I said, because all cool people smoke cigars. The cool good guys that you in the movies, and the cool bad guys in the movies you root for. Everybody who you admire when you watch movies and TV, whether they're good or bad, they smoke cigars. And I'd like to try it. And so they picked out 3 cigars for me to try. And I didn't know how much cigars cost back in 2000, but I brought $100 with me, and I was like, is this enough money? And they laughed, and they go, it's your birthday. Don't worry about it. Smoke one. If you like it, you'll come back.
Yeah.
And so my very first cigar I ever smoked was a Padron Natural 2000.
Oh, wow.
And from the first puff, I said, wow, I think this is going to be a problem. And it was a problem. And it's been a very expensive problem for the last 26 years. Thanks, Tim, for stopping by, man. For sure, bro. Thank you much, man. Appreciate you coming in.
We'll talk soon.
And that was it. And so they picked out 3 cigars. So the Padron Natural was one. The second one I smoked was the Oliva Series V Cameroon. And then the third one was the CLE, the Camacho, Connecticut. And that was when Camacho was still owned by Christian before he sold out to Davidoff.
Yeah.
And so it was, those were my 3 that got that kind of introduced me to cigars. And then from there, I became a total nerd because I was fascinated by the fact, how come this tastes like chocolate and butter and coffee? Like how do they? And I became a total nerd. I dug into the different types of tobaccos and blending, and how they're able to age and cure cigars, and how certain types of aging and curing can affect the flavors to give the flavor profile. And I became this total nerd.
Yeah.
When it came to it. And so, but I still remember that first puff off that Padron, and I fell in love. And I still have that same feeling every time I light up a Padron Natural. It gives, my body has that same feel that I get, like this euphoric feeling, like, because I don't smoke them a lot anymore, but every now and then I will light one up just because I want my body to remember this is why we do it.
The nostalgia of it. Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because the first Padron that I ever smoked was the exact same one, a Padron 2000 Natural. I still to this day will do the 4000 Natural. That's one of my favorite ones to this day. But when I look back over my life when it comes to cigars, it's crazy because, and some people that know me know this, but I always try to let people kind of in on that part of my history, was I was one of the only people in my family that really smoked cigars. And I kept trying to figure out, like, why is that? Why do I feel so drawn to this, other than, like you said, the cool people smoke cigars?
Yeah.
And I was talking with my mom one day, and I said, Mom, I got into smoking cigars. And she was like, oh God, here we go. Got into cigars, huh? And I said, yeah. I said, but I'm like really, really curious about learning the history of it, the lineage of the different families that are making it, the regions that they come out of. And I don't really know why that is. And she says, well, to be honest, cigar tobacco was in your DNA. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? And she said, well, your grandmother, which was her mother, was she worked in pre-production of rolling of cigars right here in Jacksonville. Back in the day, it was called the King Edward Cigar Factory. which is now known as Swisher International. So literally, her stripping tobacco, getting it ready for hand roll production, was my draw that I never even knew that was tied to me, and other than the DNA side of it. And from that point on, my soul was on fire, man. I was like, now I got to do something, within this industry other than to just be uh, a fan and a smoker of the cigars. At that point, I wanted to really, I guess, pay tribute to the matriarch of our family, who had this tie of getting that tobacco ready for someone to enjoy at some point. That also was tied, to the big infrastructure of our city, of Jacksonville, starting way back in the 30s and 40s. So, yeah, when you talk about the nostalgia side of it, I get it 100%. Every time I light one up, I can think of her and just be like, some of us are still in the game, Grandma. We're still here.
Did you ever smoke a King Edwards? But an old school King Edwards prior to the when they made all the changes back into the 80s.
I actually was able to do so. It was in the early, good Lord, probably late 90s, early 2000s, where they, right before they went into real mass production and started machine rolling everything, machine producing everything, I should say. I was able to get my hands on one, and there is a significant difference. If anybody who hasn't ever experienced that, so yeah.
My grandpa was a fan of White Owl, and he always would bitch and complain that when the Cuban embargo went into effect, that White Owls never tasted the same again because they couldn't use that Cuban filler anymore.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're just not the same, and nothing, and it's all he did, but he continued to smoke White Owls forever. And he was the kind of guy, he was a chain smoker. So he would smoke a cigar, and then as soon as he'd finish, he'd light a cigarette. And then as soon as he finished, he'd light a cigar and then light a cigarette. And, in the 80s, there was no such thing as driving with the window cracked. So the whole car was filled with smoke until he finished, and then cracked the window to toss the butt out the window out there. And then all the smoke would go, whew.
Yeah.
That was, and you had about 15 seconds of fresh air.
Other than that, you were just lingering living in a cloud of smoke.
You were living in a cloud of smoke. And I vaguely remember that the cigar smoke smelled way better than the cigarette smoke.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference. And it's funny because my wife's been smoking for about 3 years now, smoking cigars for about 3 years. And that was one of the things that I was, in the beginning, I was kind of worried about. I was like, I like to smoke cigars. This ain't, an environment for a lot of people. But she got into it, and she enjoys smoking cigars now as well. But she's got that trained palate now, where if we're at a cigar lounge and someone lights up a cigarette, they could be outside, and every cigar person in there is like, what the hell's going on? And she picks up on that so quick now. And it's like, yep, you're one of us. You're in the fold now.
You can. Yeah, I just remember the smell of the White Owl compared to the smell of the unfiltered Parliament.
Ooh.
Ooh. I just remember,
that's a line in the sand right there.
Yeah, it definitely changed. But and I don't know if maybe that was an influence, because I always thought my grandpa was a cool dude. He never really said much or anything. He always kept to himself. He was always a very quiet guy. World War II bomber pilot, and never really talked about anything, never really said much, always kept to himself. But I don't know, maybe part of me on there is like, this is a cool dude. And then to see other cool people in movies and TV smoking cigars, I equate that all to into one. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just.
Well, I agree with you, man. Like I said, I looked at, whether they were, actors. Like I still think one of the coolest scenes ever is Tony Montana sitting in the bathtub, the size of the whole freaking room, smoking a cigar while he's lounging in the bathtub.
Yes, it was so bad. It's so badass.
Yeah, it's just one of the dopest things I've ever seen. So it was like, hell, one day I don't know if I got to be Tony Montana to do that, but I want to do some shit like that too.
I've smoked a cigar in the tub, but it's not the same as smoking in a room size tub.
Yeah.
I think that would be just way better. You know.
You can't get much more pimp than that.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah, it was that's such a badass scene. Yeah, and I just think that all of that's kind of, I think, for a lot of us. I'd say this: a lot of us older smokers out there, I think a lot of that molded our interest or infatuation with cigars. Was that people who we watched in movies and TV in the 80s and 90s were like, yeah, man, that guy's cool. I know he's the bad guy, but that dude's, just the way chomping on the cigar, the way they'd hold it, the way they would talk and make a threat with a cigar in their mouth. It just sounded intimidating. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, that guy's awesome. I know he's going to die, but like, I'm going to root he lives. But
yeah, I mean, that was, I was the exact same way. Like I said, I was the kid that cheered for the villain. Them guys that always kind of had the purpose and the focus to, do what they did, even if it wasn't the right thing. They had such a commitment to it that it was like, it's hard not to cheer for that dude, and hopefully he survives it. But he's gonna get blown up, or a headshot's gonna happen, or something's gonna happen at the end. But you kind of be like, damn,
yeah,
it went out like that,
Yeah. I think all that molds us for where we're at and how we get there. But then now seeing the changes now, in the industry and in the community as a whole out there, is way different than when I started smoking. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just, it's just like, they didn't have cigar weeks back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They didn't have these types of events that you could, link up with. You were kind of limited to the people at the lounges that you frequented.
Yeah.
But with social media now, it's like I meet people, and I felt like I've known them my whole life, even though I've only communicated with them online. And then when you meet them in person, it's just like, yeah, it's like I feel like I've known this person for 20 years.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, because in the early 2000s, you had the lounges and everybody was kind of in a silo, where this lounge on this, on this side of town, you may have went to one, across the bridge or something like that every so often, but you kind of had your cheers. Everybody knew your name in that particular lounge, in that particular place, and that's where you frequent. You still have a lot of that go on today, especially with some of your smaller lounges, which makes it intimate and allows for you to be able to actually have conversations with people on a much higher level. Then you have more of some of your larger lounges that you'll come across, or the events where they've incorporated, a DJ or live music, or food vendors and things of that nature. Where, like I said, when I started, I own a commercial cleaning company. I've been doing that for 16 years. So a lot of work that I did was at night. So a lot of times going to the cigar lounge or the cigar shop was just enough for me to go in there, grab the cigars that I wanted, go and strip and wax the floor. And when you're waiting for the floor to dry, you sit around and you smoke cigars until that stuff is done. So I was, me and my dad, that's what we did, so it was kind of, a lot different than it is now. Like I say, being a part of events as a vendor, being a part of event as planning the events. Like I said, with River City Smoke Fest that we've done over the last couple of years, I was, one of the party members that was putting that event on here in Jacksonville to bring more of a cigar culture and presence to North Florida. It's a grind. It's a lot of work. And a lot of times you find yourself more entrenched into making sure that everybody that's coming to attend, which we've had really good response from people around the country to come out to the event each year we've had it. You're more invested in making sure they have a good time than it is necessarily then you're enjoying your cigar until that last day. When everything's kind of wrapping up and you're doing that last event, and you can kind of breathe, and now you can actually enjoy what the event was about. So social media has allowed for me to be able to get a little bit bigger of a platform. Like I say, of course, doing podcasts like yourself. I've only done a couple of them so far, but being able to get awareness and promote the line to people that when you're small, when you're a smaller brand that's first starting, I was thinking about people right here in Jacksonville to get my cigar and like it and smoke it, as opposed to someone. I mean, you're in Wyoming, so it's like, damn, somebody in Wyoming is smoking AT Fields cigar. That's some cool shit, So it does. Social media has definitely helped broaden the horizon when it comes to getting the brand out there.
Yeah, longtime smokers will remember this if you smoked in the early 2000s, but I was part of the bottle message board.
Mm-hmm.
That ended up becoming part of Drew Estate in the towards the late part of those early aughts of 2000s.
Yeah, like
And
2009. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was part of that, and that it gave me the experience to communicate with people all across the country, and that's where I was able to connect with people and like trade cigars. Especially a lot of the smaller regional stuff that was out there, where I had smaller regional stuff that was available to me, Arizona, New Mexico, West Texas, to be able to trade with somebody in Jacksonville or Atlanta or something. It's like, oh yeah, so that really was my first experience of the community outside of the community that I had at my local place.
I got a question for you. Is it difficult? Certain areas of the country is more difficult to get cigars, whether it be because of taxation, things of that nature. Is it hard to do that in your area?
Kinda, because I don't have a whole lot of lounges available to me. I got one lounge in town, and then there's a shop, and so the shop has the lounge has a nice selection of stuff, but it's mainly big time stuff. And the shop that's in town has a little bit of everything, and they carry a lot of high end stuff.
Gotcha.
So if I want a nice variety, I got to go to Colorado. But the difference there is that 35-mile drive to Fort Collins, Colorado, means that I'm going from a 30 cents a cigar tax to 67% tax. So, I have the variety, but that $8 cigar in
Yeah,
Wyoming, is $17 in Colorado.
yeah,
So, I get that variety, but I got to pay for it.
yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of the that's kind of the difference, where I have more of a selection down there going to going to shops in like Fort Collins or around Denver, but I got to pay the price.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why, if I can't find it up here, I tend to order online because I have the ability to get it shipped to me. And so that way I can experience it.
Gotcha.
I don't get that instant gratification of buying it and lighting it up immediately. I got to wait 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get that.
Manny, good to see you. Cheryl, good to see you, girl.
Cheryl Walker, how we doing, good baby girl?
Cheryl's awesome.
Now you talking about somebody with a really good palate.
Cheryl?
Cheryl's got a
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
Cheryl's fantastic. She's she's one of my favorite people. She's fantastic. And she knows like everybody.
Yeah.
She knows everybody. She is like she's introducing me to like a bunch of people. And I was just like, how does she know these people? Hey. Yeah, Cheryl's fantastic. If you're not following Cheryl, go follow Cheryl. She's awesome. She knows everybody too.
Yeah, I met her for the first time at Miami Herf too, where I met the Bourbon Pitmaster. That was when we met officially in person. Is when we met the first time was there. So it's good. Like you say, it's good to be able to go to these events and then finally meet somebody in person that
Oh yeah.
just kind of transponded with here and there on the interweb. So to meet them in person, truly put a face with the name. It's always cool.
Jim Manny, great question. It's all three. Part of it is the description. If I'm reading through the description, what the blend is. If that sounds like a blend that I may like, I'll buy. I'll check out reviews from people who I trust, and if the people who I trust like it, I'll pick up. It's worth picking up. And recommendations. If AT tells me here about a cigar on it, and he recommends it and goes, "Yeah, man, XY the Maduro from XYZ brand is awesome. You should check it out." I would take that recommendation and go, "All right, he liked it. I think and based upon how he manufactures his cigars, if he likes it, we seem to be on the same page palette wise. I'm probably going to like it, so I'll pick that up. That. So yes, it's on all three. On that. That's kind of when I'm online. If I don't know anything about it, I'll go by the description. If I may have heard of it, but I don't know much, I'll check out reviews from people who I trust before I purchase, and then I'll go by word of mouth recommendations from people who have similar palates to me.
That also really helps when you can get someone that you kind of trust what their palate is like, that will offer you recommendations on that kind of stuff. Because what that does more than anything else for me personally, it allowed me to broaden my palate. So you don't get, it's easy to get pigeonholed into all I smoke is Nicaraguan, all I smoke is Dominican, all I smoke is Honduran, but they're making some tremendously great tobacco right in Africa.
Oh yeah.
Cameroon, one of the best Cameroon cigars that I had is another, I guess you say, boutique brand owner, and that's Kevin Brown from Conscious
Cigars. Yeah, love
Yeah.
Kevin.
Ridiculously good. So yeah, if you're If you're a big person that wants to try something in this with a Cameroon wrapper, go online, Conscious Cigars, Kevin King Brown. That's my man. He has produced a beautiful smoke.
It's
when it comes to that.
fantastic.
So
Yes, I love conscious. That is if I'm in the mood for, if I'm getting that African bug where I'm like, man, I could really I'll go conscious every time.
yeah,
The other one, Ish from Banff, is pure African, which is an African puro. So you're getting a little bit of multitude of different regions of Africa, from Cameroon, Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, all kind of in one cigar there. And it's not for the weak out there, man. That cigar will knock you. It's so good, you find yourself fast smoking it, and it will knock you on your ass.
yeah.
It is a strong stick, but man, it is so good.
Ish is a funny guy, man.
I love Ish.
It's crazy because he's got one out now, and of course the name just slipped my mind. That he's got like 11 different tobaccos.
17 around the world.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I've been smoking for a while. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to go around the world like that just yet.
Oh, it's so good. It was my cigar of the year last year.
I saw that. Yeah,
it's so good. And I've known Ish for a long time, and that was a passion project for him. For years, he talked about, I want to do a cigar. He goes, I can't get grease or French tobacco. It's so hard to get. And then he quit talking about it. And I'm like, oh my God, he got it. He has it. He quit talking about it. If you'd ask him about it, he'd be like, it's one of those things. It's one of those things on the back burner. But part of me just was like, I've known Ish forever. I know he's got it. And then lo and behold, he throws that out at PCA last year. And I'm like, it's so good. It's literally every puff is like smoking a different cigar. I kid you not.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It is phenomenal. I love it. Yeah. Ish is a funny dude, man. He just no nonsense, and he's one of the pettiest men I have ever met. If you do him dirty or you lie to him, he'll go on Instagram Live and he'll bring up all your messages with them. He'll bring up receipts and how you didn't pay him money. Oh, it's so petty. And I'm just like, bro. But I love the dude. I love him, man. He just such a great guy.
Yeah. Cause it's funny, like when I first started, I had never smoked GTO until I met Doc in person. And it was at that event in Martinsville. And I want to say on that Saturday event where it was the actual vendor event, I think I smoked every cigar he had ever created and his family had ever created. And the craziest part about it, and still to this day, and I tell him this all the time, I said the best cigar my favorite, when I have a few of them out of that line, of course, but my favorite out of that line is the La Cura. That cigar to me is just ridiculous. And when you talk about just a bomb of a flavor profile, it doesn't get much better than that to me.
That is one of my favorites from him. The one that I've been on recently that I just can't stop smoking is the barrel aged Maduro.
The 33 Oaks.
Yep, 33 Oaks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one it's one I just continuously go back to over and over again. It's so good.
I always tell him, I tease him, I was like, man, whenever y'all are doing the aging of the tobacco, because with my Maduro, I wanted to keep the construction of it to be very precise. I used the Ligero tobacco for that, and I said, if you can just make sure that they kind of keep the tobacco close to the barrels that you all aged the 33 oaks in. I just want a whiff of it, just to kind of just waft over to where mine is, to get just a hint of it, because it is like it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The Cheryl just said the patatu. Now that's a grown man smoke. That's a grown folk smoke. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the
Yes.
patatu? Oh
I
yeah.
have it. Yes, it's that one's phenomenal. The new one that they just dropped. Was it the
I mean,
Royal?
the Royal
Or
game.
Royal Game? Yeah, that one's fantastic too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with anything from GTO. Like they make a cigar for everybody's palate. You know,
Agreed.
regardless of what you're looking for. If you're looking for something on the lighter side to something that will put hair on your chest, he's got it.
And that was I think why we matched so easily, was because I wanted, at least with the core line, to be able to touch everybody's palate. But you never know where you meet somebody in their cigar experience, in their journey. So I wanted to make sure that if you were looking for something that was a little bit more, I don't think any of mine, I would say, are a true full body smoke. I always say mine are more medium plus the full body when you get into them. I have one that I have in the works, that will be more of a full body smoke. But I just wanted something that if you went into the humidor, wherever your shop is, and they say, hey, I'm just looking for this milder smoke. Okay, well, here's this Connecticut by AT Fields. Try this. Well, I'm kind of more in that medium, medium body smoke, something with a little bit of a good transition in the back third. Okay, well, here's your Corojo. This one will give you a little bit of that spice. Some people pick it up earlier than others do, but you'll get that. Or I want something that's really, really rich in flavor, a really, really mature smoke. And here's your Maduro. So I wanted to be able to kind of, check off any of those boxes for anybody, no matter where they are in that journey.
Yeah, that's a sign of a good brand. And I'd agree. Nothing you have is overwhelming. Both on body and flavor. I'm not. You're not overwhelming me on the palate with a bunch of pepper and spice and a lot of Ligero on the cigar, and you're not killing me with a bunch of vitamin N. So they're very well balanced in cigars, and I mean, one reason why I like it. Why I think you've got the secret sauce, bro. You've got it. It's just you want a good, well balanced cigar, no matter what you're looking for. It's what you're gonna get it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this Corojo is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's really good. It's really good. The flavor profile is just right on point, man. Right on point. But that Maduro is the real deal, man.
Yeah. I think I've gotten the best response of the three, definitely out of the Maduro. People are just like, man, like, what the hell were you doing to come up with this? And I was just like, I had the coming out of the factory and the master blender that I'm working with. I was like, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm coming for the crown when it comes to the Maduros, because you like the Maduro king to me. So I'm trying to if I'm not going to be the king, I'm going to definitely be the prince. I'm trying to get there. And he was like, yeah, what you're working on and what we're coming up with, when you finally get that one, I think you're gonna tell me this is exactly where we need to be. He said, because I smoked it, and I'm telling you, I think it's where we need to be. But you make that final decision because I thought we might have had it, a blend or two earlier. But when you told me, oh, let's stick with the Lajero for the binder, to stick with it, I'm telling you. When I said that, and he was like, okay, okay. And then he got it, and he said, brother, I got something coming to you. I think we did it. And on the cold draw, I was like, here we are.
It's so good. It's so good, man. The way that cigar started. That's why it was like 4 puffs in. You had me drooling already. It was just like the sweetness, the sweetness, the pepperiness, and then that sweetness in the retro was so good. Like that. Those almost. I've told people the retro and that Maduro it had a nice punch, but this almost like silky, like hand churned buttery sweetness to it. And to me, that was like the seller that for me on that, because it was like, yeah, like you just know that first retro was just like, holy cow, boy, that popped a punch, but that sweetness was just so creamy and silky. And I think I talked when I had Dr. O on, I talked about that cigar with him on that, and I told him, I was like, that sweetness was like hand churned butter, and he thought that was the best description for it that he had heard.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it was like. And I'm just like, man, this is legit, man. Like, how no more people not smoking this?
Well, like I say, getting the word out, and like I said, that's the biggest thing is actually trying to get it into people's hands. And people always say you want to get it into the right people's hands. Well, to me, the right people's hands is in the hands of a consumer that wants to try something that they may have never tried before. So if you're able to do that, and you're able to get that level of exposure to those people, um, then you're on point. I got a buddy of mine. We've been friends since we were 8 years old, and this guy is a Padron smoker. Padron. It is, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what time of the year it is, this guy's a Padron smoker. And I said to him, I said, dude, I'm coming out with my blends. He was like, oh, okay, okay. I said, I got something that you need to try. And he was like, you know what I smoke, man? And I'm like, I know exactly what you smoke. I said, but I'm going to put some, I'm going to give you something, and I won't be as brutal as you feel necessary. If it's up, tell me it's up. Then I mean I got to start over. That's okay. I don't mind that. And he got it, and I said, I only have one rule. I said, you can't smoke Padron that day. I want a clean palate. And he was like, I'll take a couple of days, won't smoke anything, so I'm completely clean when I smoke it. Then I said, okay, that's fair. Well, he got it. He smoked it, and he was probably about 4 or 5 draws in, and he calls me. And like I said, we've been doing each other. This is my brother. And he was like, cursing at each other is second nature. That's just how we talk. And he was like, he sends me a text message, and he goes, so hopefully I don't get you in no trouble with what I'm going to say. He goes, motherfucker. And I'm like, he must have tried a cigar. So he said, are you free? I said, yeah, man, what's up? So he said, I'm finna call you. So he calls me. I said, what's up? Motherfucker, what is this shit? And I'm thinking, what you think? You tell me. And he was like, AT, man, look, man, let me tell you something. The only cigar that's in my rotation is Padron. He said, You know how many cigars I've tried to add to my rotation over the last decade? And I said, "Oh, I know. We talk 3 or 4 times a week. I know." And he was like, "I finally found my second rotational cigar." And he said, "If I know you and all that," he said, "because if it sucked, I was gonna tell you, what the fuck is this shit you gave me, dude? Like, this is horrible. Like, I expect more out of you." No, I'm gonna buy a box of Padron. When I go through that box, I'm buying a box of AT Fields Maduro, and I'm just going to just rotate. And that's kind of been his deal ever since. And I knew then, if I could turn a guy that was so into that particular brand, which, truth be told, Padron is Padron. I mean, they are who they are.
They are who they are.
So
you can't go wrong.
yeah. So I was like, if I can break into this guy's humidor, I gotta have something. And I tell people, I don't need to take over your humidor, but I want to be in your rotation. If I'm in your rotation, that means I put something out that's worthy enough to stand up to those cigars or cigar that's in your rotation currently.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole thing.
Did and Brian here said that Maduro is fire. He smoked one this last weekend, and it was fabulous. Kudos.
Brian Joyner from Big Fellas Mobile Cigar Lounge. Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
I had a chance to meet and talk with him, and I sent him some cigars because I know he was telling me he has the lounge, mobile lounge in Illinois. I hope, Brian, if you're still on, I hope you and your family are doing well. I know with all of the storms and stuff that they had in Illinois area with the tornadoes, I know you guys, thank God, family wise was okay, but I know you had some property damages, things of that nature. So I hope everything's kind of moving back into the right direction for you. And I know that his brother may possibly be doing a lounge out in Arizona under the big fella mobile name. They both have it in Illinois, but so I'm hoping more than anything else, I hope that him and his family are doing well post catastrophic weather that we had in that area.
Yeah, winds were rough.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I've been in heavy winds out here, but I've never been like 130 mile an hour winds. It was. There you are. Yeah, I'd never been in 130 mile an hour winds before. It was insane. Driving home, I had, 115-mile drive home from work, and it was an upper body workout trying to keep the truck on the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Florida, like I say, we're the king of the hurricanes and tropical storms here. So we kind of get used to the weather being that way when storm season hits. But thank God I haven't personally been through a major tornado. I have experienced it before, but
I've never seen one until I moved. I'm from the desert. I'm from the desert mountains in northern New Mexico. We don't have tornadoes there. When I moved, it was like my first experience of like seeing one in real life. And, I never saw one, and I was like pulled over. I was taking pictures. I was like, cool. And then it moved and started coming out towards me. And I was like, I don't know how fast this vehicle can drive on this backcountry dirt road, but I'm going to, whoosh.
Yeah. It'll make you move quicker than you think you will. My dad grew up in Oklahoma, and a lot of flat land in that area, and he would tell me about stories about tornadoes that he experienced. And it was like, literally, he was like watching the movie Twister. He would, tell me how he literally saw a home get picked up in a storm that was on one lot of land, get completely moved to another lot of land, and it was still intact where you could walk into the home. So I mean, it's mind blowing. So I don't want to see that kind of shit.
Let's see. Yeah, Brian there. Everybody's good. So that's great, Brian. Glad to hear everybody's doing good and safe, and that's all matters. Let's get a couple of boxes of AT Fields in the lounge before the Chicago Pipe Show. We'll be at all week at the end of April. Thanks for your kind words and thoughts.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. Yeah.
There you go.
We'll definitely
making sales on the show. What can I say?
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I was with you, Brian. But yeah, I going through that weather and that kind of stuff like that. That's a hell of a situation. I mean, like I said, in North Florida, we've been blessed to get passed by quite a bit on a lot of the major storms. We'll get some of the side bands, some high winds, some strong winds, but we haven't here in the last few years had a real major one come through this area. But being in Florida, you just become kind of used to that.
You got the secret sauce, bro. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, because all three of your cigars in your portfolio are fire, pure fire. They're all uniquely different, but they all have one common thing in play, which is they're delicious.
Thank you.
I think you're going places this year, man. I really do. It's just that feeling I get. I just feel like you're set for a big breakout. Because there's no way you can have something this good and just go ignored. There's just no way. I'll do everything in my power to make sure people are aware of this, and you don't go ignored. If I got to, because man, your stuff's too good.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, this is we all do it. I think anybody that truly does this from the standpoint of wanting to be a brand owner. I mean, it's always risk versus reward when it comes to any type of endeavor when you work. You're an entrepreneur, but for me, there's passion and there's passion with a purpose. And this is a part of my purpose. Like I say, the tribute alone to my city, the tribute alone to my grandmother. I don't take that for granted. And I think when you know that you're doing it and it's bigger than my name's on the brand, but the blood, sweat, and tears of everybody in the Dominican Republic that has been a part of that family for 148 years, cultivating and growing some of the best tobacco on this planet. You're doing it for more than just the name on the label.
Yeah.
And I take that seriously.
I think your grandma would be very proud of what you've put out, because it's phenomenal. It's, and you're doing the family name, heritage, and legacy proud, man, because, you've created something that's delicious, something that's fun to smokes, and just something that's, I think everybody can relate to your story in some way, shape, size, or form. So I think you've done wonders and great work, I appreciate, and I appreciate the opportunity to smoke a fantastic cigar, man.
I definitely appreciate that. Like I say, you have a good palate, man. You're a good dude. You're good to talk to. This has been an easy process. I'm not a big talker. Like I said, I can talk about cigar all day long, but I'm a doer. So it's this doing stuff like this helps me try to break out of that shell. Me and Kathy talk about it all the time. Like, I don't trust many people. I don't talk a whole lot, but I'm a doer. When you're a person of action, uh, the actions I think should speak for themselves. The product should speak for itself, and that was one of the main things for me was I want to put out a product that people can say, I may not know that guy that made that, but damn, he knows what he's doing. He's working with the right people to know what they're doing, and his product speaks for itself.
It does. It stands on its own 2 feet, man, and it's fantastic. When you have that, you've already got pretty much the hardest part done, which is making your cigar stand on its own, stand out. And it stands out, like I said, that Maduro, it's legit, and even if you're not a Maduro person out there, I highly recommend you try it because it is such a unique experience that not a lot of cigars can hold up to. And I like your friend who's a Padron guy. If you're a Padron guy, I equate it to the 1926 70th. That's what I equated to on the Maduro. It's got the nice power to it, but not overwhelming. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's salty. It has that umami-ness to it. Plus, you're not overwhelmed with pepper and spice. It has just the right amount that if you're not a pepper head out there, or if you're pepper or spice sensitive, it's not going to overwhelm the palate for you. And the retro is just so buttery smooth with a nice punch to it.
And another thing to kind of piggyback off of that is each one of the cigars is aged 10 years. Tobacco's aged 10 years. So a lot of the impurity that you'll get on something that might be a 2 to maybe even 4, maybe even a 6 year aged tobacco, you kind of get away from a lot of that. It keeps a lot of the nicotine down. But the flavor profiles, I mean, like a good Scotch or bourbon, they come out more the longer the aging process. So you can get those things that'll pair well with the cigar. You can highlight those things a lot better because of the aging process and no aftertaste. That was another thing that I was big on. I wanted people to be able to smoke a cigar, but not feel like they smoked a cigar. Like it was just, a lot of times if it's too spicy, too peppery, you'll get a lot of that. And you'd be like, man, like I really smoked a cigar last night. But with this, you might smoke 2 of them and be like, I'm good.
Yeah, you got it, man. I love it. I love what you're doing out there. I love your brand. I think that people need to really, 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 really check you out if they haven't checked you out already. And I put a direct link to Black Box Cigar Club down in the description. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just go to the description. I got the direct link there. Use my promo code, save some money. I want Dantley to text me in a couple days saying he's losing money because of all you people using that promo code. That's what I want. I want Dantley to say, I'm losing money here.
Remember, he said that, then I did. That's on.
I love Dantley. How'd you get connected with Dantley?
A guy that I met through a mutual friend. His brother-in-law was a cigar smoker, and he's a merchant seaman. And he had come back from being out for several months, and he was like, "Man, I'm trying to get me some cigars." And my buddy was like, man, he said, one of my oldest friends, he's here in Jacksonville. He has his own cigar line. I think you should give him a shot. And he was like, man, I don't really smoke a lot of the smaller brands. And he was like, man, I know. He said, but I think you should really give this guy a shot. Give my boy a shot. He's been getting some really good feedback from his cigars. So he reached out to me. We connected. I got him some of the cigars. He tried them and was just like, dude, I don't know where you've been hiding, but this shit is crazy. And I said, well, I'm right here in Duval County, man. I'm right here. And he's a member of Black Box Cigar Club. And he reached out to them. I didn't even know he did it. He reached out to them and told them, hey, there's a guy right here in my city. He's got 3 blends. I've tried them all. I think you guys should give him a shot. They reached out to me via social media, told me who had reached out to them. Come to find out, he was a what they call it, a Black Box ambassador, and they said, we want to get your cigars in as quickly as we can. We normally have a wait list for people of about 2 months, but when an ambassador reaches out to us directly, we move those people up in that process. So I think it was around June or July of last year when I was able to get the first order out to them. And you probably were part of that order. So
I did. That's how I found your brand. Was in the box. I've had the opportunity to curate one of the monthly boxes for Black Box, and it was one of the most stressful things I ever did.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I hope people like it, what I picked, and I tried to go with something different and things that maybe people have never had or tried, just, and Dantley goes, I don't know, give me 4 or 5 brands. And so I gave him 10 brands that I'm high on to begin the year with. And he put 5 of them in the box. And then I'm on the Black Box Facebook group. I'm watching people post about to see if they like the monthly if they like this month's box and what they thought of it. And I'm like, okay, good. People are liking it. Okay, good. But then that also led to a couple of those brands getting brought into the shop as well. So he started bringing them into the shop because people really enjoyed them and really liked them. So to me, I thought that was a successful box. And then I was part of one of the subscriber boxes with a bunch of us, 4 different subscribers got to put a cigar in the box for one of the months.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then when Dantley starts bringing in new brands into the shop, he'll hit me up asking me what I think about the brands and what are my favorites? What are my favorite smokes from these brands? And I'm just like, I like this and this. He's like, I can't get that. And I'm like, oh, that's a shame. He's like, you had to have been a buyer for 10 years to get that cigar. I'm like, well, I mean, in 10 years when you get it, it'll
still be good.
Yeah, it'll be a banger when it comes in. Yeah, I love it. I love Black Box. And for somebody like me whose whole content is built on boutique and small brands out there, getting to the opportunity to have a bunch of small brands now come in that I can try. And then like with you, I reach out to you. I'm like, man, I just want to thank you for the great cigar that you put out, and so that way I'm like, man, I'd love to get you on the show. I'd love to promote you even more, promote your brand more. And it's really, it's been one of the best monthly clubs I've ever been involved in, just because I've had the ability to smoke it and be introduced to a lot of new brands out there that I didn't know were out there. And I'm pretty dug into the world, but there's so many out there that you can't keep up with them all.
Yeah, you got, and they are everywhere. Like I say, there's so many smaller brands that I'm becoming more aware of just by doing a lot of the events that you can go and be a vendor at, or definitely going to PCA. You get to see a lot of brands that you didn't know that they were out there that are producing really good tobacco, and it's good to see that there's always a level of competition. I mean that's always a good thing, but all of us at some point were just fans and just enthusiasts that wanted to be able to try something from a region that you might not have known about, or this person could be right there within your state, and you not know that that they're a brand owner or where they're from, and you get to get a little bit of background on them and how they got into it and learn about their stories as well. I'm big on the process, but I'm really big on the history. I like to see where people are trying to what story and
I
narrative.
think the story,
Yeah,
the story matters,
yeah,
a lot to me at least, because you ultimately that's what you're selling me is a story,
yeah,
and how good's your story that you're telling, and if I don't understand the story, it's a bad cigar. It's just not there. But I remember I had talked with Oliver from United Cigars about one of the Alfonso cigars, which he was the Bandolero, and I didn't understand the cigar. I'm like, it's a good cigar, but it kind of confused me as I was smoking it because I didn't know. And then he told me, so and Nelson was creating a cigar as a tribute to the cigar thieves who would go into Cuba and cut down leaves and take Cuban leaves back to Costa Rica and then manufacture counterfeit Cubans with Cuban tobacco. And then the cigar made sense to me
yeah,
because I got it, but I didn't quite understand the story behind it. But when it started explaining, I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I get the story in the cigar. It
yeah,
just wasn't, portrayed out to me very well,
yeah.
and then it made sense. I'm like,
And
okay, I get it. I get it now. Yeah,
yeah,
because
when that framework is there, and you got to see how the story actually unfolds, then it makes you say, well, damn, like you feel a part of the experience at
yeah,
that point.
it's there. Man, I had a great time with you tonight. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Um, Anything you'd like to promote before I end out the show tonight?
Um, I think we kind of covered it. I'm hoping to be a part of. There's a uh, cigar week that's going to be happening here in Pensacola, Florida, in May 1st to the 3rd. That I'm hoping to be a vendor at. If everything lines up right, I won't. I wasn't able to get to Chicago for the Chicago Pipe Show that Brian was talking about. Dr. Rodriguez will be there though, so that makes it cool because we're all under the same umbrella. So if he can't beat you the one that I'm going to be at, I can't beat you the one he's going to be at, but we'll be still able to promote the brands no matter what. Um, Other than that, just trying to get more stock in to get more stock out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I have Sharitha on in 2 weeks to promote Pensacola Cigar Fest or
Cool.
Cigar
Very good.
Week. So yeah, she'll be on in a couple weeks. I had her on last year to promote it, and it was a good showing for her, and so I invited her to come back to promote it again for year two. So
Very cool. Very
we had a great time last year. So expect a good one this year. And again, if you're interested in any AT Field selection cigars, you can head over to Black Box Cigar Club. I got a direct link down in the description. You can click on that and use my promo code too when you check out. Save yourself some coinage. Make it worth your while. You get a nice big discount using that promo code. So take advantage of it, and have by the end of the week Dantley calling AT here telling him he needs a reorder.
That'd be nice.
And next week, my buddy Shawan Mims from Heart of a Lion will be on. He's got a brand new cigar dropping, and I'm excited to smoke it. And you can y'all can tune in and check that cigar out. I'll enjoy it. We'll probably have some good stories about hanging out in Dallas together. So you may want to tune in for that. But that's it for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome as always. Thank you to the chat out there. AT, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Wonderful time. Great cigar. And that's it. So until next week, everybody, take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything AT and I want to do because we're sweet and innocent boys. And we will catch you all later.